Welcome back to another Ashtray chat and review. My name is Zachary Conan, and today we're talking about Annihilation from 2018, Alex Garland's second film, his follow-up to Ex Machina, starring Natalie Portman, Oscar Isaac, the smoldering Tessa Thompson, and the always incredible and amazing Jennifer Jason Leigh. This is Ayanesh, subscriber to the channel, really wanted me to lend my thoughts on Annihilation, and it's not just him. I've been recommended this movie several times, mostly because of how many similarities it seems to share with films like Stalker from 1979, or the other Tarkovsky masterwork, Solaris, which is my favorite Tarkovsky film. And this film does have a lot of, or at least it pays tribute in a lot of different ways to those films, but I would argue that it doesn't hold a candle to the sophistication of those two films. Annihilation is a film that I did not hate. Did not think that I hated this movie. This movie, I did not enjoy it. I thought it was really bad. I thought that the visuals were atrocious. I thought that the dialogue was non-stop painful. The performances, all of them outside of Jennifer Jason Leigh, and even she stumbled given the material and content she was working with. Every other performance was absolute dog shit. I'm sorry, it was just miserable. Oscar Isaac was terrible in this movie. Natalie Portman was completely uninvolved. Tessa Thompson and all the other kind of minor characters, it was just painful. It was just excruciatingly painful to watch from, I guess, a compositional level like that, from a level of form. There's nothing really interesting about it until you get to the idea of the whole film, and it's gonna take a lot of convincing. If you could convince me that Alex Garland consciously made Annihilation a self-defeating film in manifest, in composition, in content, in form, then this film is remarkable. Then it's a film that you should only watch once because it's a beautiful, shimmering failure. But that would be very hard to convince. So the entire ethos, the entire morality, the entire message, the entire philosophy of Annihilation is about the difference between suicide and self-destruction. How self-destruction is encoded into the human identity, into the human condition, and that we all self-destruct. We go out of our way to self-immolate. We go out of our way to rid ourselves from this planet. Not suicide, it's self-destruction, it's annihilation of self. And I don't know if the movie is just so poorly put together compositionally, or if Alex Garland is a nearly masterful kind of filmmaker, that the film itself feels self-defeating. The film itself feels like it's annihilating itself. Like it's taking every opportunity that it can to ruin itself completely. People wanted an analysis of this movie, answers. I think that the answers are all given to you, and all of the answers are bullshit and suck. Or, I don't care enough. It didn't engage me on any sort of level like that. The shimmer, everything about it, yeah, the shimmer and the zone from Stalker are very similar, but the difference is, and I do think that they're both films of, that do focus on faith a little bit. I've read some analyses of Annihilation talking about cancer, and I think that's more true of the novel and other media, other expressions of this particular story than it is of the film, and I think that it's smart that Alex Garland chose not to completely focus on that aspect of the story. It is there, of course, with Ventress, with Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, essentially refracting her own disease and giving the shimmer cancer at the end of the film. I mean, it is there, but what it mostly is, where Stalker is a film about faith, and it's a film about having faith in the actual film itself, and it's a film about giving you no specific magic until the very last scene. Annihilation, there's no wonder there for me. I don't understand how people think that there is wonder, that there is mystery in that film. It shows me everything. It doesn't let me think about anything. And I wasn't engaged enough to think about the things that it seemed to want me to think about, because it was expressed in the most painfully atrocious and ham-fisted, heavy, scenery-chewing way possible. In the most self-defeating way possible. It's a film that wants to ask very big questions, but isn't articulate enough to form even the smallest, infinitesimal question. It's a film that has a lot to say that doesn't have a voice. And that's incredibly self-defeating. And it's either ironic or it's genius. It's ironic that this film about asking the big questions, about self-defeat, about self-destruction, also self-destructs because of its own inadequacies of composition, or it's genius for those same exact reasons. And I'm leaning more towards the side that this was a failure. This was a definite failure on Alex Garland's part, and everyone involved, basically. This was really an unenjoyable film, and I really didn't think it was imaginative either. I didn't think that it was creative, and I did not find it powerful in the least. And I'm not convinced of Alex Garland's skills as a filmmaker. Ex Machina was fine. It wasn't as great as people say it was. I don't know, people are very easily soothed, very easily impressed now. But if you hold this up to the films that it's emulating, specifically Solaris and Stalker, and I keep going back to those because I feel like Garland kept going back to those and taking the exact wrong message or wrong approach from them. Those are both two very patient, very deliberately patient films that know how to ask the big questions and asks them in the most eloquent way possible. In Stalker's case, in the most haunting way possible. In Solaris's case, in the most psychosexually erotic and challenging way possible. And he takes those stories and it's an oversimplification of Tarkovsky, and that's really the issue with this film. It's an oversimplification of Andrei Tarkovsky pictures, with a slice of Bergman slid in there for good measure. But this thing keeps going out. They need to make cigarettes better. I want quality cancer when I die. That's the problem with the film. It is so self-defeating. And maybe Alex Garland reached too high. If he was trying to emulate, if he was trying to harken back to the days of Tarkovsky, to his wonderful 70s science fiction pictures, to even Fassbinder science fiction, if he was trying to remind you of those days or to evoke those same kind of feelings, he's definitely overreached. Those are masters. This is an oversimplification of that, and to me, in the grossest and a very tasteless way, because the film thinks that it is so much more important, so much more thought-provoking than it actually is, but everything about it is downright atrocious and self-defeating. I like the music at the end of the film, actually, but the music throughout, that terrible white folky bullshit, everything, the cinematography, oh my god, the dialogue, the performances, the actual idea itself, the motivations, are all self-defeating because they're all awful, because they all fall apart, because they're not tenable. I did not enjoy Annihilation. People wanted a full-on, like, one of my Talking Art House, long-winded discussion pieces on this, and I certainly do not have the energy to devote to this. This is really not that fascinating to me. Because the answers are all there. And if the answers aren't there, it's just because... Actually, no, the answers are there. People are wondering, in analysis, if you were going to ask who's the real who, the actual answer is it doesn't matter, that everything self-destructs anyway. It doesn't matter who is the real you. You are not the real you anymore. That's the point of the movie. That's like an incredibly simple point. That's fucking existentialism 101. It's probably biology 101 too. I mean, our cells are reproducing over time. We're completely different people every some odd years or something. And we're just looking to self-destruct and become this newer version of ourselves that begins without good or evil, but inherits it along the way because it's in our DNA. Boom, analysis, whatever. It was very bad. Annihilation was very bad. Sorry about that, you guys. I know I was expected to enjoy it a lot more. I might watch it again one day, because a lot of people I respect like this movie. Whereas I hated this movie, so fuck man. Sorry to let you guys down, but Annihilation was really tasteless. Unless you can prove to me somehow that Alex Garland is this kind of master and he made this incredibly self-aware film about self-destruction, about self-annihilation, about the annihilation of self in an existentialist and non-Buddhist way. There is a lot of neo-Christianity in here as well. Maybe that rubbed me the wrong way too. Because it wasn't done in a Tarkovsky way. It wasn't done with a benefit of doubt. Stalker is about punishing a believer and giving him a reward at the very end, a very small reward that he's not even present or available for us through his daughter. It's about punishing the believer, whereas Annihilation doesn't have any of those kind of concepts involved with it. It's just a bunch of fucking shimmering bullshit, man. It's too loud for a movie that really wants to infect you quietly. It's too loud. My name's Zachary Conan. Please subscribe to this channel. If you want me to review a specific film, leave it in the comments. I probably will do it. If I don't know, get mad at me though. Thank you very much for watching this. I wish I liked Annihilation more.